Critical race theory is dividing Democrats and rallying Republicans. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there and more people become aware. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribing already, um, so you know when we go live and when we put out new stuff. Also, check out our Patreon link in the description for that, where I talk about stuff that I can't talk about here on YouTube. And also, we got T-shirts. You can click on that link also and go to our merch, where we got Let's Go Brandon T-shirts, I Would Not Comply T-shirts, all types of different T-shirts, and we all do that in-house. All right, let's get into this news. All right. Those of us worried about the corrosive effects of cancel culture and critical race theory are often accused of obsessing over the culture wars at the expense of real issues. But new data suggests that the culture war is only going to rise in importance in future elections to the benefit of Republicans. This is the gist of the survey results contained in the New Manhattan Institute report, The Politics of the Culture Wars in Contemporary America. Already, cancel culture and applied critical race theory, CRT, are leading priorities for Republican voters and mid-ranking issue and a mid-ranking issue overall, in large part because they unite conservatives while dividing the left. On one side, you have cultural liberals, those who expose classical liberal views about free speech, due process, equal treatment before the law, and elsewhere, and the scientific method. On the other is a rising cohort of cultural socialists who prioritize protecting disadvantaged groups from offense while redistributing self-esteem and power. These aims are used to justify restricting people's freedom of speech and conscience. Cultural socialism grows out of wokeness, the idea that historically marginalized race and gender minorities are sacred, more spiritual, more moral, fragile, and helpless than members of the advantaged groups. And unlike causes advanced by the left in the past, which pushed for equal rights for black and gay Americans under the auspice of classical liberalism, cultural socialism is likely to provoke and sustain backlash from cultural liberals. But while the cultural socialists are in the decided minority, there are two cultural liberals for every cultural socialist in America. Cultural socialists have a slight advantage among millennials and Gen Z, and as these relatively woke generations enter the electorate, they will start to edge out their more moderate elders. And as the divide on the left increases, it will continue to give an advantage to the right, which is united by the very issue dividing their opponents. That's what the data shows. In the survey, people were asked whether students should be taught that America was stolen from the native peoples, and that the school they attend and the school they attend and houses they live in are built on stolen land. 90% of Republicans were strongly against teaching this, while Democrats were just about evenly split across the four response categories: strongly for teaching this, weakly for it, weakly against it, and strongly against it. In other words, Republicans are more motivated to oppose CRT than Democrats are to support it. And that's really big. With cancel culture, the dynamics are somewhat different from CRT, but produce a similar result. Let's see. They asked if they endorsed the firing of 4 people who lost their jobs over giving offense to woke sensibilities, and what they found was that half of the people who identified as strong Democrats supported cancellation in these cases, but they were outliers. Moderate Democrats were more similar to Republicans and independents in strongly opposing and canceling of these 4 individuals. So Democrats should definitely pick up on this. They should understand that pushing this CRT stuff is a no-win for them. because this is the one issue where they got moderate Democrats and Republicans working together, well, agreeing on this issue, saying that CRT really shouldn't be taught. In other words, cancel culture and CRT split the left and rally the right, making these issues a clear vote winner for the GOP. So that's why a lot of this stuff is coming out. It's more than just a cultural thing, too. Across the board, most people don't want to push this fake history stuff. But skeptics often argue that the average voter doesn't care about the cultural wars because they don't know what CRT or cancel culture is, and are focused on bread and butter issues. So let's test this theory. They tested this theory to gauge the importance of culture war issues. They asked people to name their top three priorities from a list of nine issue baskets. For one of those baskets, they used a broad definition of cancel culture that covers a range of terms through which people understand cancel culture. Political correctness, everybody understand that. Free speech, everyone understand that. Cancel culture, wokeness, people falsely accused of racism and sexism. Even without including critical race theory in that list, 10% of respondents ranked this suit of issues as the most important facing the country, behind COVID, economy, and healthcare. Other surveys show a similar mid-range ranking for cancel culture, political correctness among a list of 24 issues. So across the board, the Democrats are trying to pretend like this is not an issue, and that Republicans are making up the whole critical race theory stuff. But people that's paying attention are concerned about this and is trying to do something about it. Cancel culture issues ranked in the top three of 31% of voters, including a third of independents and 17% of Democrats. Among Republicans, nearly half, 48%, place this issue in their top three above religion and moral values, with only immigration and COVID economy scoring higher. It's just no longer tenable to claim that these questions aren't on voters' radar and can't swing elections. Because that's they're trying to play this off. They're trying to pretend that this people don't really care and this doesn't exist. But we got the polls to show that that's untrue. Had CRT been added to political correctness basket, culture wars issues might have scored even higher. While most parents don't know if applied CRT is being taught to their children, a rising number have encountered it. Around half of those surveyed had taken diversity training, and a quarter said they took training to which instructors used one or more of the terms white privilege, patriarchy, or white supremacy. So it's just people are knowing what it is, but not really knowing that this stuff is being taught. And the more voters learn about CRT means in practice, the less they like it. For example, when a sample of mainly Democrat-leaning independents read the following passage, they were much cooler towards CRT and warmer towards CRT ban than people who didn't read it. And here it is. A middle school in Springfield, Missouri, forced teachers to locate themselves on a oppression matrix, claiming that white heterosexual Protestant males are inherently oppressors and must atone for their covert white supremacy. This kind of approach has been labeled as critical race theory, which it is. And Republican politicians are beginning to realize that campaigning on cancel culture and CRT is a winning posture with voters. Glenn Youngkin, stunning upset in Virginia, owed a great deal to centrist parents' fury at the woke educational establishment it implemented of CRT dogma in schools. And we know this is because the other individual in Virginia that was running for governor, he was an ex-governor before of Virginia. The name skips me right now, but he basically said that the parents don't have a right in what the child is teaching, and that when he made that statement, that pretty much gave Youngkin the win. Telling parents that they really have no stake in what their children are being taught is just crazy. But these issues matter. They will increasingly decide elections unless the Democrats are able to distance their brand from cultural socialism. But let me know what you think about all this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out the t-shirts, link in the description. And check out democrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.